conceded, and I'd conceded a goal, and I'd conceded a penalty. But after the game, I remember like going into the team talk with the manager and the rest of the team, whatever, and I see my mum and dad talking to some guy that I'd never seen before, and I was just like, don't know what that's about. So I walked over, and the guy like introduced himself, and he was working like on behalf of Arsenal, and he said like, listen, like we think you're really good. We're going to send you for a trial at Arsenal for 6 weeks. And I was like, okay, like, you know, great. Like, obviously nobody says no to Arsenal. So
hold on, was that was your first game in goal?
Well, I'd had like little bits in goal before, but like it's my first like 11-a-side proper game, yeah, because Reece obviously was our goalkeeper. So like, obviously, there was no
crazy.
I weren't even bothered about being a goalkeeper at the time. I enjoyed doing it. I used to do it in the garden and whatever, but I was just like, take it or leave it. I'll play wherever. And then went into Arsenal, and Alex Welsh, obviously you and I both know well. He said, listen, like we like you and we want you to stay, but you've got a decision to make. Are you going to be a goalkeeper, or are you going to be? Do you want to like continue as an outfield player? Because if you want to be a goalkeeper, you can stay. If you want to be an outfield player, then you know, thanks a lot.
There's the door.
Yeah, literally. So I obviously decided that I wanted to be a goalkeeper. I enjoyed my training with Alex. He was a big part of what I enjoyed doing in goal. He made all the sessions fun, and I really enjoyed being there and going up to Arsenal every week. Obviously, wearing the Arsenal badge was always, you know, great. It's one of the biggest clubs in the country, and it made my mind up for me really. So I spent best part of 8 years at Arsenal. Within that time, I actually did a year in Hong Kong. Obviously, as you know. So when I was 10, nearly 11, or turning to 11, I moved to Hong Kong and did the whole of year 7 in Hong Kong. So obviously school year 7. Dad's job took us out there at the time. So I did that year, came back.
Did you play football out there?
Yeah, I played football for Hong Kong Football Academy. So it was under a guy called Ed Fordham, who had loads of, there was like Japanese players, Chinese players, English players, American, Australian. There's loads of like mix of cultures over there with who I played football with. And I did my year there, came back, got in contact with Arsenal, and they had always said to me that the door would always remain open. So we got in contact, and I ended up going back to Arsenal, obviously until the age of when I met you, which was about 15. At that time, obviously, I think it's quite important that I touch on, you know, I don't know who's watching, but I got released from Arsenal at 15. A guy called Roy Massey was the, I know you've heard of, was the main guy for the academy back in those days. And he took me into the office and was just like, listen, we don't think that there's a future for you here at Arsenal. So we're going to let you go and find yourself a scholarship somewhere. I think I was quite naive at the fact that I just thought, like, when I was at Arsenal, I'd just stay there. I didn't really ever believe I'd be released, or I was never really clued on to the fact that there is life outside of the four walls of Arsenal, should I say. So that hit me a little bit, to be fair. I remember getting in the car with my mum after the meeting, and I got upset, but like I didn't want to show I was upset. But I think when I'd spoken to people around me, they were all saying, listen, like, you know, there are more clubs in the country than Arsenal, and you'll go somewhere else. And that was quite scary for me, because I've been at Arsenal for so long, and I've obviously got to know everybody, and I've been working with Alex for like years and years. And it was a real strange feeling. So when we left Arsenal, Roy Massey and Steve Leonard and Alex Welsh had kind of got in contact with people they know and said, look, like, we're releasing this lad, it might be worth you having a look.
It was interesting actually, because that was my first time I heard your name mentioned. We took a team, it would have been Southend at the time, probably an under 11 or under 12 team. We took them the side down to Hale End,
Yeah.
And after the game, we're having a cup of tea, and Steve Leonard said to me and Luke Hobbs, "Oh, there's a goalkeeper you might be interested in. His name's Daniel Bentley. We're not going to be offering him, but he's worth a look." And that's the first time. I think you were obviously an under 16 then, but you're 15.
Yeah.
It's your July birthday, aren't you?
Yeah,
So
young. Yeah.
they're the ones you've always got to be wary of, that you don't miss out on the summer-born boys.
Yeah.
And so that kind of leads me on to my next sort of point, really. When was the first time you heard Southend were interested, and what other clubs were you in and around at the time, and what was the feedback?
Well, I went straight from Arsenal, and my mum got a call from Perry Suckling, who was the coach at Tottenham at the time, who was coaching the under 16s or 18s downwards, I think it was 16s downwards at the time. And he rang my mum and said, "Look, like we've heard through Alex that Dan's been let go, so we'd like to bring him in for a trial and see how we go." So I went there, and I never really thought that my face fit. They had a goalkeeper there at the time called Jonathan Miles, who was like, he was their golden boy. You know, I think they had high hopes for him, and he was probably better than me at the time, to be fair. So, you know, I can't complain. I'm not bitter grapes about that at all. But he was probably in advance of where I was, but I never really got a look in because he was there, and he'd been there for a while. He had probably been at Tottenham the same time that I'd been at Arsenal. So obviously me coming in as like fresh faced, coming in from Arsenal was just a little bit, my face, like I said, my face just didn't fit.
But didn't you get injured as well though? You break your finger or something? Because I swear Perry said to me they were gonna sign you, but the day they were going to offer to sign you, you broke your finger. So
so I played a game at it was at Tottenham's current training ground, the new one, but it hadn't been built yet. So it was like a half-empty shell really, with just some change rooms in. And we played a game. I can't remember exactly who it was against, but we played a game against like another Prem club, and halfway through the game, a ball come in low, and I kind of tried to scoop it, and it clipped the top of my middle finger and broke my finger. And I played on, and it was just like, it was fine, like tape it up at half time, it's fine. But I knew that like something was wrong. I took my hand out of my glove at half time, and like my finger was all like puffed up and stuff like that. So I knew it was not great. So after the game, they said to me, "Look, we want to offer you a contract till the end of the season, but that's not including a scholarship." And at the time, I barely knew what a scholarship was. So obviously, kind of asked people that I knew that I knew a couple of lads that had already got scholarships early and stuff. So I just said, "Look, I need to know more, and I need to obviously get this scholarship kind of nailed down, really, because I don't want to get to the point where I'm at the end of the under-16 season, I've not got anything going forward in terms of a scholarship." So it's a bit of a difficult situation. Within this time as well, that they'd offered me kind of the end of that season, they said to me, like, "You're welcome to stay, but you know, if you have got something else lined up, then you know, we're not going to stop you. You're not our player technically." So within that close space of time, Charlton and Lee Smelt rung my mum and just said, "Look, we want to get him down for a trial." I went in there and I didn't really enjoy it. They had again another guy that you know, Connor Goff, they had in there.
Connor,
yeah, and he was in there, and he was like their prodigal son at the time. He was their golden boy. So I just felt like, obviously, where I'd been at Arsenal for so long, like it felt difficult to go in somewhere else where everyone had their feet under the table. So I didn't feel right at Charlton. I didn't enjoy it. I was only there for a couple of weeks. I didn't enjoy it at all. And then obviously my mum got a call from Luke Hobbs and said, "Look, Southend want to bring you in on trial. Like, what do you think?" I was just like, obviously Southend and Arsenal, like two big different, big like a massive side to like a League One side, obviously, and I'd always catch half an hour on Southend being a local club, but I was just like, oh, like I'd love to be like Chelsea, Arsenal, and that kind of thing. But I think the realization was setting in that I was never really gonna cut it at that level if I didn't like learn and fast track myself quick. So I came into Southend. Within this space of time as well, I'd had like I think Cardiff rung my mum, Reading rung my mum. Like there was people like that wanted to have a look, but I was just like, I can't just